Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a genuinely fascinating modern phenomenon. We're looking at exactly how people are combining ancient cosmic guidance with internet-age pop psychology to protect their emotional energy. Honestly, it's pretty wild how we're using everything from celestial tracking to the latest internet slang just to navigate the absolute complexities of our inner lives. So, before we even jump into the details, I want you to ask yourself this one question. How do we protect our peace in a chaotic world? Because navigating this kind of modern emotional exhaustion is exactly the thread that connects today's seemingly very different wellness trends. You see, whether you're consulting a tarot deck or reading up on psychological boundaries, the ultimate goal is exactly the same for all of us. We're all just trying to find a sense of agency and calm when everything else feels completely overwhelming. All right, here is our agenda for today's Explainer. We're going to cover 1. Seeking signs and meaning, 2. The power of lunar rituals, 3. Spotting an energy vampire, 4. Main character energy explained, 5. Performance versus real healing, and 6. Protecting your emotional peace. Let's get right to it. Section 1. Seeking signs and meaning. Looking to the cosmos. To really wrap our heads around this, we first need to look at the historical divergence between astronomy and astrology. Astronomy, as we know, is the rigorous scientific study of the universe. It maps the physical reality of space. But astrology? Well, astrology maps the emotional and psychological reality of the human experience. It actually offers people a framework to process their daily lives. For example, a lot of people look to astrological readings for guidance just to validate what they're already feeling internally. Take a look at this prediction for May 27, 2026. It frames the cosmic energy as an opportunity to process hidden truths and release emotional burdens. Think about it. When people read that a specific day is going to bring emotionally intense yet deeply transformative cosmic energy, it gives them the vocabulary and, frankly, a safe space to process their own mental exhaustion and carefully reflect before making any impulsive decisions. Moving on to Section 2, the power of lunar rituals, healing under the blue moon.
So blue moons are seen by a lot of practitioners as these sort of energetic checkpoints that push hidden emotions right up to the surface. For the May 2026 blue moon, people use physical rituals for emotional release. We're talking about things like taking a cleansing salt and clove bath, or writing down toxic habits on a bay leaf and literally setting it on fire, which, hopefully you do without setting off your apartment's smoke alarm. But seriously, these aren't just mystical acts. They're powerful physical metaphors for intentionally letting go of what simply doesn't serve you anymore.
And alongside those rituals, practitioners also use specific crystals to physically represent the absorption of all that emotional heaviness. By keeping black tourmaline nearby for protection, using selenite for aura cleansing, or holding amethyst for emotional healing, individuals are creating a physical anchor in their environment. It serves as this constant, tangible reminder of their daily goal to just protect their peace. Now, this right here brilliantly illustrates the core theme across all of these mystical practices. Whether we're talking about tarot readings that urge us to walk away from unhealthy attachments, looking at astrology, or using this numerology mantra for birth number 7, I release the old and embrace spiritual clarity, it is all about intentional emotional detachment. It's about slowing down, tuning into your inner voice, and finding peace by simply releasing those old emotional loops. Which brings us nicely to Section 3. Spotting an energy vampire, navigating emotional drains. While the spiritual practices we just talked about focus on inner cleansing, modern psychology gives us a very concrete term for an external drain that I guarantee we've all felt: the energy vampire. Think of that one coworker you intentionally dodge in the break room. These are people who repeatedly siphon your emotional energy, and a lot of times they're completely unaware of how much they're contributing to interpersonal friction. Experts note that this behavior is frequently driven by things like codependency, insecure attachment styles from childhood, or even unresolved trauma. Identifying the behavior is absolutely crucial here. It's that constant pessimism, the endless victim mentality. It's those subtle guilt trips they use just to get you to do what they want. In a group setting, an energy vampire will talk over others, demand attention, and reject any actual solutions you try to offer. They bring this whirlwind of exaggerated, ongoing drama that completely shifts the dynamic. It turns a perfectly normal environment into a highly stressful one, leaving everyone else in the room completely drained and totally overstimulated. But hold on, it's vital to distinguish an energy vampire from someone who is simply just going through a hard time. There is a massive difference between seeking attention and genuinely needing support. Trauma dumping is a subconscious expression of a deep need for help after a specific traumatic event. An energy vampire, on the flip side, relies on ongoing, manufactured drama to secure your attention. And the real kicker? They rarely actually want a solution to their problems.
Section 4. Main Character Energy Explained. Reclaiming Your Agency.
You've probably heard this phrase. Main character energy completely exploded online as a way for people, particularly Gen Z, to push back against feeling like supporting actors in their own lives. It literally means acting as if your life is a movie, complete with a killer soundtrack and aesthetic lighting. Whether that looks like putting on bold red lipstick just to run to Trader Joe's or listening to Phoebe Bridgers while walking home in the rain, it's a tool. It's a way to confidently reclaim your personal narrative and romanticize your daily life in a world that, let's be honest, often feels entirely unpredictable. Section 5. Performance versus real healing. When healing becomes a vibe. So, there is a stark, absolute contrast between curating an online wellness vibe and doing the actual, messy, offline emotional work. Performative healing happens when relying on external validation and documenting your self-care, like posting a perfectly aesthetic photo of a lit candle, becomes way more important than the experience itself. The logic kind of becomes, well, if I look healed, I must be healed. But authentic growth? That means your self-care continues even when no one is watching. And it means you are willing to sit with difficult, incredibly unphotogenic emotions. And when healing becomes purely performative, psychologists actually warn us that relying too heavily on these cinematic fantasies can turn into a coping strategy called maladaptive daydreaming. This is when imagined success or these highly aesthetic, fantasy-based moments are used to completely escape from uncomfortable, real-life emotional challenges. It literally causes us to avoid the vulnerable, difficult conversations and the genuine human connections that are absolutely required for true psychological transformation.
Finally, we have Section 6. Protecting Your Emotional Peace. Building Your Toolkit.
Whether you're dealing with an energy vampire who is completely draining you, or you are authentically stepping into your main character era, clinical experts emphasize these 3 grounded steps to establish firm, healthy boundaries. First, assertive communication. This means respectfully but firmly redirecting a conversation. Second, simply asking for space when someone's energy overwhelms you. And finally, learning to say no. Remember, no is a complete sentence, and it's an absolutely vital boundary for protecting your energy from those who might otherwise just walk all over it.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to reflect on today. Whether you look to the stars for cosmic guidance, burn bay leaves under a blue moon, or look within through psychology to set firm boundaries, are you truly the main character of your own healing? Because true empowerment, it isn't about perfectly curating a flawless aesthetic. It's about actively, bravely showing up for the messy, unfiltered reality of your own life. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and keep protecting your peace.